Okay, the way I hooked it up wrong was in the breaker box over there. I had my auxiliary heat on a 60 amp breaker on the left side. I had my unit on a 15 amp on the right side, and it was saying that this air handler over here runs off of 15 amps. It does. The little brains, I think I've showed you in one of the previous videos, sits right behind here and runs on 15 amps of electric current. And I had L1 and L2 hooked up. I remember in a previous video I talked about the L1 and L2. Well, I wanted to run this before it got real cold, and I turned on the heat strip, and when I turned on the heat strip, it was trying to run the heat strip off this 15 amp circuit over here, which threw this breaker, which threw all the breakers over in the breaker box. So, when you have an auxiliary heat hooked up in your unit, which I do, and it runs in a heavy cable on the top, and it comes down and runs off a 60 amp breaker, you run off of that and you disconnect L1 and L2. You do not have L1 and L2 hooked up in here, plus have the heat strip hooked up over here, or it's all messed up. You're trying to feed it from two different directions and it gets confused. So that will cause a problem. Throw the breakers. It didn't cause any problems with the electrical. We didn't burn anything up, but it just kicked everything out. And as soon as I called Ingram, they said disconnect L1 and L2 here inside this cabinet. And I disconnected it, and from that point on, we have been running perfectly fine. And here it is January, and the thing is running, and it is heating, and we have been very happy with our unit. And we get monthly things from our electric company that's telling us that we are running better than we were last year, and we're running better than most of our neighbors. So we're very happy with what we got from Mr. Cool.